The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
I just want to spend the remaining few moments just talking about my Rosh Hashiva, the Menal's Rosh Hashiva, Rav Aaron Schechter, Zecher Tzadik L'Bracha. And Rav Aaron Schechter was the symbol of Gadlus Adam. There was nothing that was trivial by Rav Aaron. There was nothing that just happened. There was nothing. You couldn't say something to Rav Aaron without him taking note of it and commenting on it. If you said something or you did something that was slightly wrong, if the word that you used was slightly incorrect, that everyone else in the world would just let it go, he didn't let it go. He wanted to correct you because he wanted to mechanech you that you can't use that word, or you shouldn't use that word, or you should use a different word. And he was Gadlus Adam. He just symbolized. I went with him to Belgium once. We flew together. It was one of the nicest times of my life. We went to a chasna. And we went on the airplane together. We were sitting and talking and learning and schmoozing. And we went and he was walking through the airports in Belgium and Antwerp and in Brussels. And, and they were all looking at him like a Malach Hashem Tzvakis is walking through the airport. He just walked with aristocracy and nobility and everything. It just looked beautiful. And he presented himself beautifully. And he walked and he was just so graceful and so elegant. And he loved Yidden, like every Gadol B'Yisrael. A Gadol B'Yisrael, the Chazon Ish used to say that what defines a Gadol B'Yisrael, his circle is bigger. He's not much different in every single way. We might all be Gedolim, but a Gadol has a wider circle, and he's able to encompass more people, thousands of people. You saw by the Levaya, if anyone saw pictures by the Levaya, there were thousands and thousands of people in the Beis Medrash and streaming onto Coney Island Avenue as far as the eye could see. Whoever thought that there would be another Levaya? I was by Ramesh's Levaya. You saw, as far as the eye can see, Yidden. I didn't think that we'd have that anymore in America. Rav Aaron Schechter was a person that touched so many souls because he loved so many souls. He cared about people. When I was learning in Chaim Berlin, so the Beis Medrash was very crowded. It was, believe it or not, davening was full every single day in Chaim Berlin. And I was a little claustrophobic. I didn't like davening. I like walking. I like Ravchus. And so I used to wake up every morning for davening, but I would daven in the Ezras Nashim. Upstairs, a very big Ezras Nashim, and I would put on my talis and fill up there, and I would, I'd daven, but I would daven like always walking and, pacing, and that's sometimes I do it down here also. I can't always sit in my seat. I need to walk. I need to roam a little bit, for better or for worse. So I was davening upstairs, and one day I was coming down the marble staircase in Chaim Berlin as Rav Aaron was coming up. We were both wearing our talis and tefillin, and Rav Aaron says to me, he says, Moshe, I was looking for you by davening. I was looking for you, a lot by davening. I don't see you. Where are you? I said, Rabbi, I'm here every day by davening. He said, well, I don't see you. He said, yeah, I'm not downstairs. I'm davening in the Ezras Nashim. He says, why do you daven in the Ezras Nashim? I said, it's a little too crowded for me downstairs in the Beis Medrash. I like davening for Ravchus. So he looks at me and he says, Moshe, you know the difference between me and you? He says, Ich hab lieb Yidden. He says, I love Yidden. I want to be amongst Yidden. I love being crammed together with hundreds and thousands of Yidden. I love Yidden. I have a love for Yidden. But that's who he was. He really loved Yidden. He cared about every Yid. He loved Russian Yidden, the Yidden that came over from Russia. He did so much for, and he started shuls and meistes and kiruv organizations and everything and anything to take care of these Russian Yidden. And that's why all these Russian Yidden today, they acknowledge that they're from because of Rav Aaron, many of them, whether it's in Ber Agayla or there were shuls in Flatbush, whatever he did in America for Russian Yidden, that was an obsession that he had. Svardish Yidden he loved. He took a son-in-law who was the current Rosh Hashiva of Chaim Berlin. Reb Shlomo Hali was a Svardisha. And I had friends that were Sfardim. We went together on Shabbos, and I've spoken about his Shabbos table many times, the Kedusha and the Tara. But, he didn't want to hear my Ashkenaz Zmiris on Shabbos. He just made, he said, sing a Zemer. He said to the Svardisha Bachim, and they would sing these beautiful Piyutim on Shabbos, and his face was glowing. He loved Svardish Yidden. Up here in this room, I made a bris for Yitzi 13 years ago. And Rav Aaron was sitting on the dais, and my uncle, who was a real Yekesh Yid, Olav Shalom, we were mechabed him with benching, and by yekes, by a bris, the benching is like an hour, because there's all these harachamans. Like we have a few harachamans in the Art Scroll Siddur, but yekes, they know how to do harachamans. They have like a whole booklet, literally, like a pamphlet harachaman. He just kept on going. Like my video is like 2 hours, the bris video that somebody was nice enough to make for me. But an hour of it was just the harachamans. It was just like these tefillos that were said. And most people are like, really have to catch the train. Bamberger, thanks for having me. I'm out of here. Like this, I can't wait till the end of this. Rav Aaron was just sitting and looking through all the harachamans, and his face was aglow. He just was loving the minhagim and the Klal Yisrael. That's what made him a gadol. The gadlus was that he loved all of us. And Klal Yisrael reciprocate that. When there's a gadol that loves you, you love them back. Reb Chaim Kanievsky loved Klal Yisrael, and Klal Yisrael obviously loved him back. And the same is true for so many Gedolei Yisrael, Rav Yosef, and Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach loved every Yid. The Levaya that Rav Shlomo Zalman had 600,000 people of every stripe, Kippah Sruga, and Hasidim, and Ashkenazim, Misnagdim. Everybody loved Rav Shlomo Zalman because he loved them. And Rav Aaron was nifter a week ago, the Levaya was a week ago, and last Thursday, and it didn't hit me really. I had a tremendously close relationship with Rav Aaron. I loved Rav Aaron. I think he loved me back. And he told me that he did many times. But for some reason, because I was making a bar mitzvah, I think I was trying to just stay normal. The morning after the bar mitzvah was over, the bar mitzvah was Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, all of a sudden, like an ocean came out of me of tears. And I missed him so much. And I longed for him. I wish that I could have him back. I wish that I could just speak to him a few minutes and ask him about things. And be shayil eitz and hadracha. And by the way, he loved Lander College. He always said to me, he heard great things about what was going on here, and he was the one that really talked me into taking this position here. I was very reluctant. I was still super yeshivish. I didn't know hashkafically whether I should be going into a college and become mashgiach in a college. I didn't know what. And I didn't know, should I do it? I was in a yeshiva before, and I was very happy. I was in Kamenetz Yeshiva in Brooklyn. I was a 12th grade Rabbi. I was like a superstar. Everybody loved me there. And then I got this amazing offer, but I didn't know if I should do it. And I was like back and forth and making my wife crazy, making everybody crazy. Like, I don't know, should I, that? And then I just went to Rav Aaron. Rav Aaron says, of course you should do it. Of course you should do it. We have to work out some of the details, but of course you should do it. And he pushed me to do it, and I did it. And then, Baruch Hashem, we went from a yeshiva of 30 guys, 35 guys, and to a yeshiva of 200 guys, and he took tremendous nachas. And every time he saw me, every time he spoke to me, even when he was not well, and he could barely remember my name, he remembered that he sent me to do this mission here in yeshiva. But how much I wish that I had him just for a few minutes to talk about issues, to talk about my family, to talk about problems, talk about Klal Yisrael, talk about so many things that I had him for. And I think I appreciated him, but the loss is so great. And he wasn't well the past 7 years or so, and already, but he was alive. As Reb Shlomo Halley was said by the Levaya, he was here. He was a presence. You felt that he was still here. The Samachta B'chol HaTov, you're still able to have simcha that he was in the room, he was in this world. But when we have Gedolei Yisrael, Rabbi say, and I don't mean just the household name Gedolei Yisrael in Bnei Brak and in Eretz Yisrael, and in Yerushalayim and in Lakewood, I mean even our Rabbeim, our regular Rabbeim, Rosh Hashiva that we have, Menal that we have, Chaparayin, you don't understand. We think, I have time, we have time. We don't have time. Every day is precious. Don't squander a shir. Don't squander a chance to talk to your Rabbi. Whether it's in learning or whether it's Mili Da'alma. Don't waste time. And if you have Rabbeim in Eretz Yisrael, call them and tell them how much you appreciated what they did for you. But in the living years, the Samachta B'chol HaTov, make sure that you appreciate what you have, because it's not forever. It's not forever. And when we could appreciate that's the greatest kapara, that's the Chat Shmeina. Anything that we may have said or done against tzaddikim, against gedalim, sometimes we get cynical, and sometimes but we could be mechaper for that by working on our amunas chachamim, our avos chachamim, our dibuk chachamim, appreciation, the simcha that we have over the fact that we have Chachmei Yisrael, l'kayim banu Chachmei Yisrael. Let's daven for them, and let's talk to them. Let's appreciate them, and let's be ma'achid with them. And mitzvah Hashem, with that, we'll be able to go and greet Mashiach Tzidkenu. B'meir b'yameinu, amen, amen.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org